Okay, we're back on this. I'm by myself now, so I get some work done. So I went ahead and grabbed the motor cases, laid them up in the frame here. I'm going to try to get the inner primary and tranny and all that bolted in right now. I think I got most of the hardware I needed. For some reason we're missing stuff like the rear motor mount bolts are gone and a few other things, so I had to go hunt them down. Yeah. Now the motor's going to change a little bit when I rebuild it. When I put the case together for real, they tend to shift around a little bit different. Right now the motor kind of rocks in the frame a little bit. When I get it done for real, I'll have to check the shimming on it. So right now I got the bolts in here, so we're going to check for rock, for back and forth movement. So we don't have a lot of movement side to side, we just have rocking back and forth, but not other clearances. So it's pretty much going to sit in this location. So when I bolt the inner primary to the tranny, I'm going to put the tranny in for real. So I'm going to have that where it's going to be moving on us. I'm not going to bring these down full tight, but I'm going to tighten them up a little bit. I got the shifter jammed in here. Yeah, dumbass. Got the shift linkage down where it don't belong right now. I thought I had it up out of the way, but any interruptions. I can take it back apart again. Yep. Every step forward, you go 3 steps backwards. Eventually you start going forward. Can't let this stuff frustrate you when you have to redo stuff 5 times to get one thing done. Just part of putting it together. Alright, we're back. Battery died. Okay, I got the cases lightly tightened in. They still can move just a little bit, but not much. Pretty tight. So I'm going to get the oil tank back in it and get the tranny in it. Here's the oil tank. Probably a good time to wipe the dirt off. Got access to it right now. It wouldn't hurt to check to see what the oil, how clean it is inside the tank while it's off the bike. It's the time to clean it if you have to. Let's see what the hell we got in here. Yeah, it looks pretty damn clean in there. There's nothing in it, so it smells like diesel oil in there, so it's already been cleaned. Good. One less thing I got to deal with. I like that. Alright, slide this back in. Okay, that's in. Okay, I got a tranny plate ready to go in right here. So we got that cleaned up pretty good. So now to put a quick coat of wet paint on it so it won't rust. About like that. Close enough. Okay, now I'll go ahead and put this on top of the tranny over here. Hooked on something. Okay, here's our tranny sitting right here still. So this goes on here like this. Let's see, this is the front, this is the back. So it goes like this. Now what I use soft tail bottom nuts. They're a flange nut, 3/8 fine thread, and they got mechanical locking, which means they've been crushed from the side a little bit to make them tight. So there's your part number for them. So I like these. Are 90s soft tail parts. They're still available from Harley. They're expensive, but they still own them. Still have them. So you want to put a little bit of oil on the thread right here because these have a lot of galling action going on because they're squeezed in metal to metal. Once they run one time, you're all right, but the first time they go on pretty hard. So I got to put a little bit of oil on there. Maybe get some oil. What's nice about them is you don't have to ever put Loctite on them, or you just loosen them up, move the tranny around, tighten them back up. On an old bike, that's real nice because you're always adjusting chains. On this bike here, we're not going to be moving it again once it's in, but I like the large flange nut so it works real good. Actually, I want oil right there. That's going to get Loctite. We want that to be tight. Now I just take these flange nuts and put them on here. Just run them down a little ways, but not all the way. Let's see, these are pretty good size nut size. I think they're 11/16, as I recall. Yep. You can see how big they are over the slot here. They got good holding power. So the nut's a lot wider than what the slot is. So eat up into the slot. The aftermarket plates are pretty damn bad. They're really radiused over real bad. This helps them out quite a bit. Spreads the load out real good. It worked out tightening too. Okay, the plate's still relatively loose, so I can put it onto the bike real easy. Let's put this back over here. Okay, I'm going to put the tranny up into the frame there where it belongs. Oh, forgot something. Put the paint right on the frame. When you tighten them down, they won't rust there. When you tighten it down, the paint will squeeze out of the way, and there won't be any paint where you don't want it. Okay. Putting these on for real, so I'm going to Loctite them in. We tried that before, it didn't work very well. Hopefully it looks better this time. Set the bolt right there. I'm using blue Loctite on the hardware. Tight up under here. Okay. And the back one here. These are two that we just got done helicoiling. That was fun. So these nice easy jobs aren't necessarily easy. Washer. This one might not clear the tray. I need to put it on the plate. We'll find out in a minute. Oh, it made it. It made it easy. These tight clearances, not a lot of room for error. And these things barely fit together. Yeah, it's definitely tight. Hopefully the other bolt goes easier than this. Probably won't. Looks like it's going in sideways. Yeah, a little bit. Great. That means you might have to take the plate back off, open these holes up a little bit. Take this bolt out, get the other bolt. Get the hardest one first. This is the hardest one to get to. Okay, we got it going now. Alright, now I'm going to try to get this other one to go in. Make sure it's not cross-threading. Looks like it's going in straight, it's just going in hard. Let me just rub it on the side of the thread, it's pretty heavy. That it is. And this one's got a lot tighter on this side. Right on the verge of me having to take this back apart and open up that hole over there a little bit. Still might have to. See if it gets any worse than what it is. tight, but it's going. Not to worry about these bolts vibrating out, that's for sure. Definitely tight. Where's that? These two front bolts tight now. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and pull these things down. Relative strength to it. The factory torque on them. Tight. Yeah, pulling a good 50, 60 foot-pounds on them probably. Maybe 50. Same on those ones, good and tight. There. Sounds like Scooby's got something to play with. What are you barking at? Alright, where's my fifth bolt at? It was sitting here someplace. There it is. Okay, so here's our fifth bolt. Move up underneath here. Let's see if it'll start and go in there. This was kind of a pain before, so we'll see how it works. So this is a 1-inch long bolt, which is right at the limit. 7/8 might be better. It should just fit in there. Scooby found a rat to play with. At least what he thinks is a rat. There we go. The lift under here is really hard to get to this bolt. All of these bolts are hard to get to, but this one's just harder than normal. There we go. I get 1/12 of the turn here. Kind of. Yeah, that's like it. Not really. Ah. Alright, we'll be here all day doing it that way. So I'm going to slide this lift back a little bit. bike's relatively light, so you can pick it up and slide it. That's what the back fender's all for. So you go back here and you pick it up like that. Comes right out. Now I got access to the hole. Oh yeah, I got good access now. Okay, so right now the train will slide. So we can put the inner primary on it. And it don't slide very much, so. There we go. Yeah, pull it all the way forward, because most of the time they sit all the way forward when you put the inner primaries on. Yeah. Go around to the other side over here. Kind of see what's happening a little bit. It's kind of hard to see.
Quiet.
Okay, here's our inner primary. This is a generator style, only 3 bolt to 4. So we're on here. We got some major issues with this bearing. This is coming back off anyway, so it doesn't matter at this point. Definitely gonna have some issues with that. Okay, this thing is right here. Need a 1/2 inch. Scooby's having fun out there. Okay. Loosen up and still doesn't move. Oh yeah, that's nice and tight. This is your speedometer drive. It's going to wind up being down in here somewhere. So it's going to go right in here on top of the case. Right there. So before you lock the motor in here all the way, you got to put this cable in here. We're not ready to do that yet, so we're going to leave this cable loose. Keep it up out of the way. We also got some wiring that's in the way over here. These go down the brake light switch, which goes down here. Put that out of the way. So we'll go ahead and put this on here to line up the training. Damn, how'd that get so tight? Great. Sudden shock of the steel hammer is what breaks them free. Make sure the clutch lever all is free. Get it out of the way. Okay, now the inner primer can go up on here without hitting on anything. Tight fit. Real tight. Okay, it all looks good. All right. We're going to put our washers in here that came out of here. We got one new lock nut here, and leave that one there. These three here were on there before, so we'll just use these for the mock-up for now. And I got our lock plate here that goes in the front. So we got our lock. We got a flat washer on the inside to go against the hull. Oop. Which is not where you're supposed to put them, but you have the lock tab here. It just gets all bent up if you. There's the camera at there. If this is not in the right spot. I might have to change that when I put it together. It might stick out too far and hit the back of the sprocket. But I like having a flat washer against the inner permeable soft aluminum. So the lock tab's not very strong or thick, so it's not a good thing to be using for that. I think it's pretty bent up too, so I straightened it out quite a bit. There's a bolt-in fitment here. They don't like each other very much. You want to get all these bolts started first. Okay, they appear to be started. We'll then get the back ones here. Make sure everything pulls in tight like it's supposed to. Binding. I don't want to use power tools right now, so I can feel if something's binding up, so I can correct it. Once you have this thing all put together correctly, you can do power tools, but for now I like having a hand feel. You don't have less chance of breaking stuff. So you can see how that pulls in nice and flat, just like we want it to be. Go ahead and do the motor here. Make sure these pull torque. This is soft, that bolt stripping. Yeah, all these bolts feel like crap, so you probably want to peel and claw on all three of them. That one's pulling a little bit of torque. That one's finally getting a little torque on it, protesting. So I don't like the way they feel. Of course, you got a lot of steel crap you're compressing. Alright, where is this one here? This isn't exactly a torque wrench here, so. I want to get so much torque with a little quarter drive ratchet. That one's tight. That one's tight. And that one pulled in finally, so I guess we're just compressing a lot of crap. We'll look at those threads real close because they're common to strip out. Okay, so I got this all pulled in real good right now. Now I want to go ahead and pull the transmission down on the bottom. And pull it all down. And then hopefully that'll put the tranny where it needs to be. So that one do from underneath for the big bolts. So I'm going to drop this on down here and see a little better. Maybe. Yeah, it's probably still can't see them there. From this angle you might be able to. So I'm going to pull the transmission down. Somewhere there's a big ratchet floating around here. Of course I can't find it anywhere. It'd be too easy. No idea what happened to the ratchet. Good thing you got a breaker bar. I'm using this. Okay, so we can go ahead and pull down the bolts here. These are transmission bottom studs we're doing now. Pull them all four down about equally. There's a lot of pulling going on here. There's the big ratchet. Hidden behind the shock. It's a good place for it. Okay, that had a lot of movement coming down on that, so I'm going to go ahead and loosen up the inner primary on the four back bolts. Of course, I got the wrong socket here. Figures. The other one's missing. Loosen up these four nuts here. Let the transmission recenter a little bit. Well, it's going to loosen up the four front bolts, or the three, I mean. Let everything kind of recenter itself. Retighten the back ones. We're trying to get the transmission set exactly where it's going to be after the motor's done. Everything lined up. Even though this primary is coming back off, the transmission is not. Okay. I'm going to torque down the tranny now. Okay, got those pulled down pretty good. So that's these four bolts under here, right underneath the transmission right here. Tripod back a little bit, you can see better. So we get these big nuts up under here that we're just torquing. I'm going to get this fifth bolt now, pull it down a little bit. Where is my socket? Okay. Go ahead and put the big squeeze on everything. There's pretty torque. Yeah. Pretty good stretch on everything. Pretty good torque. That's probably in a 35-foot pound area, maybe 40. Hard to tell. They're tight. And that one's tight too. Okay, so now all of that is torqued in there good and tight. So these nuts up under here are good and tight. Pull that back a little bit. These are already torqued, these big plate. This is the plate to frame. This is transmission here. And you got our 5th bolt is up under here. And all of this stuff is torqued really good. You can see how those shoulder nuts really spread everything all out. These are all tight. All that stuff's tight. The motor's not torqued all the way down. It's just in there. It's coming back out, so I'm not caring about that. But the transmission now is permanently put in there where it's going to sit. The inner primary, it's in there right now, but it's coming back out. So this is going to come on and off. We use this to line the motor when you put the whole motor assembly in there. Obviously, it's allows you to work on the motor right now with these bare cases. But I want to get the transmission all set up in here like it's supposed to be. Now you want to make sure this spins nice and freely, which it appears to be. Even though this bearing's bad, we're going to have to replace it. The transmission's turning. The sprocket up in here has got clearance, is where it belongs. So there, I can turn up my fingers here from the bottom. So that all clears. You can see how the chain's centered in there, so it all looks like it's supposed to be. And we got room up in here for your electric starter to go up in here. And the oil tank's up in here. It's got a nice good gap in here, a lot more than the late bikes have. So it's got lots of clearance, and that's good. So all this stuff seems to be fitting good. And you got plenty of room down here for your shift linkage down in here. So this here goes down inside of the case down in there like that. So that's where the shifter will be. And we got a little bit of clearances on everything. You just got to double check everything, make things are good. Like I said, a lot of crushing going on tightening these down. This one feels a little soft, but we'll see. Like I said, I probably want to peel the coil nose. If you don't do it now, you have to do it later, so I might as well just do them all now. And then when you put the motor in here, what we do is we put the primary on it, because that lines up the motor at this point. The motor's tight. You can't tighten this bolt very good because you don't have access to that nut underneath. You can get these 3 tightened up pretty good, this one a little bit. You pull the inner primary off, you do your final torque on the motor, then you put your speedometer cable up in there under the tranny, because when the primary's off, you got access to get in there to tighten the damn thing down. Hook up your shift linkage, you got access to put that on the tranny. Then you put the inner primary all on here and tighten it up for real, and then everything's pulled in where it's supposed to be. If you don't do it in that order, you can't get stuff tight. So that's just part of doing it. You can see how close this clutch linkage is up in here, or shift. Yeah, it's clutch lever, so it's real tight up in here. Definitely a tight fit. I'm not sure. There should be a bracket for his clutch cable, which I do not see. Oh, he's got the, okay, it's got the mouse trap on it. Yeah, 65, I keep forgetting how they do stuff. 68's when they came out with the linkage down here, or the cable connection. So this used the mouse trap. It has a hard rod that goes from here all the way to the tranny. Don't work on a lot of these ones, so gotta remember how to go. Alright, well that's how you do it. So this is, like I said, this is all pulled in good and tight. So next thing is I gotta get the swing arm up in here and get this all mounted up in here. Make sure the swing arm's torqued in real good with a proper amount of 3-pound drag on it. Then we go ahead and hook up the shocks. We make sure all this stuff's good and tight. Got the proper washers in there. Make sure the shock rubbers are good and all this stuff. Put these up in there and install them. And that'll get the back swing arm into the bike. Then after we do that, we got to work on the brake, rebuild it, and get that and the wheel back in it. So that'll be the next thing to play with. So the parts are laying down here on the floor for it. So we got still got a lot of work to do, but I give you a good idea how you should do it if you want to make sure you get everything done right the first time. Otherwise, you get to redo it a bunch of times. So, all right, that's it for tonight. It's time to go home. It's almost noon. So we're going to get out of here.